was thinking to myself, was CJ Cron always this good? And I went back. First round pick, right? Nagging injury after nagging injury, was behind Albert Pujols. Was he always this good? He just didn't get the opportunity, or has he evolved?
Well, to get drafted in the first round, 2011, out of the University of Utah, he had to be doing some things right. But I think for me, what he talks about, kind of like perfect storm. You talk about the nagging injuries, but who comes walking in the door for the Angels is Albert Pujols on a $240 million deal. Guess what? You're not playing, and you're probably going to DH, and now you got sporadic at-bats, and you're driving to the yard, and you don't know how you get on the field on a day-to-day basis, and you're working on a ton of stuff, and you become result-oriented instead of process-oriented, where you piece together a marathon season where you know you can be a little peak valley, and you're still going to get 4 ABs. When you don't know if you're in the lineup, you start to worry about your batting average and your on-base percentage, and what happens? It ends up cratering what you're trying to do. So let's dive in, because he has been awesome. He got his first multi-year deal. Take a look at this. Stats since August 1st of 2021. CJ Cron, third, 329. Look at the homers, seventh. RBIs, third. On-base percentage, seventh. Slugging percentage, 626. Second in all of baseball since August 1st. So let's dive into his AB yesterday that put him over the top against the San Francisco Giants. This is your classic left-hander. Little change up away in a big spot. Pause this real quick. Look at the setup. Bottom of the eighth, 3-3. Man on first. Most dangerous hitter in the lineup. Great matchup. Maybe there's something going on in the metrics here for Gabe Kapler to let Mr. Alvarez go to work on him. But 2-0. Pause this, 3-0. This is the perfect example of CJ Cron's got the green light at all times. I give my 12U players the green light in this situation. But it's got to be middle. It's got to be your pitch, and it's got to be what you do well in order to change the score. So run this real quick. Alvarez paints a heater away, 91. Pause. 3-1 count, you're probably not getting that same pitch. And knowing CJ Cron and the 9 to 10 bombs he's hit this year have all been pull side, he is not looking for something out over the plate to drive up the middle the other way. This is a guy that likes to get out and around the fastball and drive it to left field. So he probably is sitting something soft, middle of the plate, that he can drive for power. Run this. Change up, sits right there, gets out and around, changes the score 5-3, and breaks the 12-game curse against the San Francisco Giants right there. So pretty awesome. We're going to dive in real quick to his 9 home runs. He doesn't discriminate. This one lands in the kettle corn. Run that back real quick. Chicago Cubs 0-1. Mark Leiter Jr. on the mound. Tries to elevate a 90-mile-an-hour heater right there, and it does not come back. That ball is absolutely destroyed. But there's something to be said. He talks about, and we're going to get into a couple side angles, and you're going to take a look at what he was doing with the Angels, then what he was doing in Tampa, then what he did in Minnesota. This is a guy that has never had a multi-year deal until this year. Run that back for me real quick. Take a look at the hands right here before we get into a side-by-side. I mean, they are way above his head, not anywhere close. And he talks about the modern hitter. I've read a couple articles on him, and Bud Black and CJ Cron's quotes about the modern hitter kind of setting their sights, setting their swing, and grooving it to drive the baseball, create exit velocity, create launch angle, and drive the ball out of the yard. He's kind of more an old school hitter where he's thinking, my hands are going to bail me out. I used to think that. When in doubt, your hands will bail you out. You got good hands, use them. Snap your wrists at point of contact. And that's what you're seeing now. He has gotten back to it. I'm sure he fell into the trap of trying to hit homers and trying to chase metrics. But he has, look at his hands continuously change. And pause this. So he went from way up here with the Angels to now he's like, you know what? I'm going to trust my hands. Evan Longoria does this as good as anybody. He just sits there with his hands, just playing in the middle of the zone. sets his foot down, and trusts that he's going to get to the baseball. Taking his hands directly there. Run this. Very simplistic move. Trusting his athleticism, but kind of almost taking his lower half out of the equation.
Wow.
Massive difference.
It's good stuff.
And it's worked for him. But I think the biggest thing is he's an old school type hitter that likes to use his hands to the baseball, not preset it and forget it. But the biggest thing is mindset. He's got a 2-year deal. He drives to the yard every day knowing he's batting fourth, and he is making nice little chunk of change, and he doesn't have to look at the lineup. And I can't begin to tell you how important that is for a guy like CJ Cron, who has probably been the best hitter on any team he's ever played on his entire youth growing up. So doing massive things out in Colorado.
It's such a good point. Never having a multi-year deal, stress is stressful.
Lauren, it was big when I finally got one and signed with the Chicago Cubs. Man, that was a moment like where you know, and you want to play every day.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely been fantastic for the Colorado Rockies.